Hi, everybody. This is energized handicapping. Uh, the Degobuster approach to playing the races, meaning that I don't know anymore. I'm not going to try to know anymore using the racing form. And I wanted to go over today, um, go over yesterday a little bit if I could, um, and talk about my mofo joke for the day, and then how I felt this morning, and then how I'm going into Sunday at Saratoga. So we just finished with Super Saturday at Saratoga. I thought it was a great day. I thought it was actually a phenomenal day. Um, Even though the feature race was a 5 horse field, it turned out to be a very enjoyable race to play. I mean, not to play, not to make an investment in. Maybe if you want to gamble, you play that race. But I don't. I don't come to play. I come to win. Um, Playing as few races as possible and only playing when I'm wowed. And I wasn't wowed by that race at all. I was just wowed by the fact that I knew I was going to see a good race between 2 horses. And I was actually surprised because it was actually a good race between 3 horses. My original thought was Wallaby. I didn't have any interest in him because his achievement was over a Ohio Derby, which is more grade 3 handicap, not this caliber. But Silent Tactic ran really good. I was surprised by how good he ran. Commandment had to go out of his element. I think he'll take the blinkers back off and get back to his regular mojo. But he's just a solid, B plus horse. Renegade just happens to be an A. Especially after what you saw him do yesterday. I mean, that horse was in the clouds, but that was really enjoyable. But again, talking about yesterday, there were. Um, I don't play the beginning of the card because of the fact that I don't. I want to get a mojo. I want to get a flow. I'm focusing more on recovering from being an addictive horse player to being someone who's just normal and enjoys the game and has fun with it. That's my whole platform. It's not to give you winners or find contenders to play in your pick sixes, your pick fives, your pick four. That's other shows. That's other platforms. Mine is showing you a journey of somebody recovering after 40 years of playing and not being a compulsive addictive gambler. There's a song out here that I listen to every day, um, and this is it. I remember when I lost my mind. There's something so happened about that place. Even your emotions have it so much space. When you're out there without care, without a touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know. Just knew too much.
you think you are? Bless your soul.
Yeah, so I mean that song represents everything to do with my 40-year journey with playing the horses. Thinking that horse racing information could give me, you know, a story or um, a picture of, through, looking at the Ragusan sheets, thoroughbred sheets, time form, all of that stuff. I thought that that information could, if I studied it and learned it and got it down, that it would give me a desired end result of being a winner in the game we all love called horse racing. And I tried for 40 years and bam, just, race after race, round after round with Mike Tyson, just getting my ass whooped. Once in a while doing real good and then getting my ass whooped. And then for many years just being Mr. Clean. Well, I did a paradigm change and like I said in my other videos and went to a different playground. My playground now is no more horse racing information. Horse racing information is useless. But let me get into Sunday and Saturday, yesterday. So again, I passed all the races up to about the eighth race. I really didn't get involved. Came to the race where the field was 10 horses yesterday. I think it was 5.5 furlongs on the turf. I forget what race it was. But I got wowed by the race, mainly because of the fact that it's 5.5 furlongs. Possibility of chaos was there. A high uncertainty was there. Again, I'm not trying to pick the winner. I'm trying just to get the one of the three longest shots on the board on the ticket. And I'm not playing string bets. I'm just playing the superfecta. And my approach is called the Degobuster approach. And that approach is to look for horses that are not really winners, but they could at a long price get up for third or fourth. And if I'm really lucky, second. And if I'm unbelievably lucky, they win it. And I have them in four positions, and I have them pressed, more in fourth, obviously, 4 times more, 3 times for third, 2 times for second, and 1 time for first. And, again, not using horse racing information. The only thing I'm using is making an odds board, because now once the odds come up, you get an odds board, and that includes everything, your guys' opinion, and then the trainers, the jockeys, and everybody they've told. So that's my handicap, and I don't have to handicap. You're going to do all that for me because you're looking for the winners. And then from that, I'm looking for the dismissed horses. Again, the 3 longest shots on the board or the 2 longest shots on the board. I don't care about the contenders anymore. I've been writing the contenders down on my crystal clear clarity board like this. This would be a crystal clear clarity board. And the 10, 4, and 7 would be the ones that would be of consideration yesterday, right? And the 3, 5, 6, 7 would be the favorites. The 8 and 9 would be 8-1, and then 7, 15-1. But again, my attention was here on the 10, 4, and 7. You guys are blind to that. You're blind to these horses. The 10, 4, and 7. You're blind to them. You can't even see them because you dismissed them. You dismissed them completely. These horses to you, when you look at the horse racing information, tell you no way. Tell you, there's no way that these 3 horses have a chance to win the race. So they're the first 3 horses off your pick 6s, pick 4s, pick 3s, pick 5s. I'm fine with that. I'm not, again, I'm not trying to win the race. I'm trying to hit the super with the other horse, the ego buster horse, the horse that think only has three legs or has no chance whatsoever. And he does it 80% of the time, 95%, or actually even 90% of the time, he doesn't have a chance. He wins very rarely. And then second, he comes in, more than first, uh, but but not as frequently as third. Um, he does really good in third because that's where he wins, and he comes in fourth quite a bit, more than you think. Especially if the race is a highly uncertain race, or it's a chaotic race, or there's no opinion, and you're hoping that, when I say chaos, that's bumping, chaos meaning that the favorites get in all kinds of trouble and your horse just gets lucky. The game isn't about skill, uh, for most of us. It's about just getting lucky, you know. And I realized that after 40 years. I realized after 40 years, it's just about getting lucky. So for Saturday, that was the key race. Now, once you find a race like that and you're wowed by a race, um, then you can stop. You can detach. I also thought that the 10th and the 11th I mean, the 11th and 12th were possible. Uh, the 10th was the five horse field, so that wasn't possible. The ninth, I'm not sure. And I think that the eighth was the one I was targeting. So um, I realized that, I wasn't going to, I knew I wasn't going to play Saturday. I wanted just to practice. I wanted just to practice my so-called swing by, you know, putting together an odds board, putting together a crystal clear clarity board, and then putting together investments, uh, that I would make. And again, I wasn't interested in anything all the way up until about 4 o'clock. So I detach. What you want to do, part of addiction recovery, is to detach. So I went to my friend's karate studio. I went, I danced for probably 5, 6 hours at least. Like for today, I've already been up since with the birds at 4:30, and I've already danced for 2 hours. I've already plus rollerbladed up at the library on the hills. And what I'm doing when I'm doing that is, besides the fact that I'm praying and asking God, thanking God for the appreciation of another day where I'm not sick, another day where I don't feel horrible, another day that I can smile, and another day of not being a compulsive, addictive gambler. But I know that every day I gotta burn that person out of me. Every day. I learned that today. I learned today that every day I gotta rollerblade, I gotta dance. And the day I can't do that, then it's over. But every day I have to get to this point where I am now. It's burnt off. I've been up since 4:30, and what is it now? It's 3 hours later. It took me 3 hours to get clean, to get beautiful. And it's dance, baby, dance. Just get out there and move. My program I've been doing for 25 years is called an Energizer program. It's right up there in the middle. Get up, get out, get energized. And be an energizer. Energize your being to where you want it. Not ba ba boo boo. Not fucking totally insane. Again, like the song, right?
You really think you're in control? Well, I think you're crazy.
I was fucking crazy. 40 years.
I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy.
looked like fun. 40 years ago, it looked like fun. Winning at the track. Winning at the races. Being like bada boom. And turned out to be the worst decision I ever made was wanting to be a horse player, wanting to be a winner. In a game that's it's unattainable. Not for me anyway. Maybe it's attainable for other people, but that's why my paradigm change was so important. That's why not being insane, not being compulsively addicted to the racing form. I had to do this the last 10 years. It's just how many times do I want to hurt myself, through going through an experience that's not pleasurable anymore. So again, doing this was inevitable for me. And being in control and being happy and being healthy and energizing my being on a daily basis to get beautiful and healing, I can't ask for anything more. That's the good thing. I'm 70 years old. I don't have to have, what a younger person has to have. I don't have to think that I can be somebody anymore because it's over. And I killed that guy who wants to be somebody. I have no interest in being him anymore. So I'm not. And I have to do that as soon as I wake up, remind myself who am I? Who am I? Am I a person who's totally insane, all alone by myself, addicted to the horse racing information? And I'm in horse racing data for like um, uh, I'm with horse racing data for like I lost my train of thought because somebody wrote something down. You know, uh, but anyway, so let me get back to picking the wild race. So on Saturday, I think the wild race was um, uh, I think the wild race was that race, the 5.5 furlong race, and I'm glad that that became clear to me. Again, um, I really enjoy listening to the professionals for golden nuggets. Maggie, Keisha, and all those people. They really are a source of information that really can help you, especially for non-contenders, which you guys are blind to. You're blind to horses that are like the 10 the other day, and I think it was the 5. Both of them were dismissed horses, and they both came second and third. Again, they don't win hardly ever, 5% of the time probably, but second, much more, third, right there, and fourth, bada bing. So that's why you push it. You push the bet more. Like the guy at Shake Up does. You push up the bet more on your opinion. But as Jonathan over there in Pastor Wire says, and also that guy SETI, focusing on your opinion, focusing on your opinion. My opinion is a Degobuster opinion. I'm not looking for the winner. That's your opinion. You're blind to my bet, and I want to be blind to contenders. That's why when I do my, crystal clear clarity board here, right? When I do that and I show you the contenders and I show you, I only want to see this. I only want to see the dismissed horses because that's where I want my attention to go. That's where I want my mofo Joe to go. I want it to go where it's supposed to go. I don't want to be blind to a 60-1 shot taking fourth. I want to be crystal clear, and that's why I do a crystal clear clarity board. So that I focus my attention not on a racing form, not on racing form data. What are we saying there? The big deal about the feature race that they talked hours and hours about was how much Chief Wallaby was going to be free on the lead. Pace, pace, pace. He wasn't free on the lead. It's just a story. It's just a story that we come up with that allows us to be brave enough to go into our pockets to make an investment. But it's all bullshit. The only thing that's not bullshit is the odds board. There's nothing bullshit about the odds board. There's nothing, everything about the odds board is real. That's what the opinion of everybody is now. Okay, so when you see the odds board, that's everything. That's all the information you need. And then you make a crystal clear clarity board of it, of the races that you're interested in. And then the difficulty is picking the right race. What is the right race? You want a lot of uncertainty. You don't want a 5-horse field where the 2 favorites are going to come 1 to 2. You want a big field. You want 10 to 12 horses. Most handicappers are afraid of those kind of races because there's too many horses in them. My approach is that, that's exactly where you want to be. That's exactly where you want to be. You want to be where nobody else is. You want to be contrarian. Everybody else is over there. My whole life, I've always, being in the bubble for 40 years, I've always been in a different playground. So it's natural for me. Now I'm going into the world bubble and leaving the horse racing bubble, which I have to do. But I know the mofo Joe of finding a playground where I'm more by myself, just playing the race. Today, I again, a selection of which race, and then just playing the race and just playing the dime super, and take a leap and risk it all, the 1 unit on that race, and then detach, and watch it later. I don't watch it live. I don't watch the race live when I make the investment, and I'll show you that when I'm actually, doing the show when I'm going to be making an investment. But again, now I'm still practicing. I'm still trying to get my mofo Joe, and I'm because it's new to me. I want to make sure that it's real. It's not just another story that Danny's telling himself, and him not being realistic. Because I've already did that. I don't want to do it again. But again, I was talking about burning the devil off. Again, I was talking about being blind, the attention. I talked about that. Also just talking about, how much better it feels over the last 3 weeks not to be, looking at a racing form. I used to love to look at the racing form. Loved it. I used to love figuring out trainer stats and pace and all that. But when you learn that your girlfriend has VD, so to speak, or that what you're looking at is ridiculous, and you learn that you're insane, like the song says, right? And you learn that you're ba ba boo boo. I had to get out of the ocean. I had to for 10 years. I swam back to land, and then I had to make a paradigm change. Do I want to leave this world an insane, addictive, compulsive, out of control motherfucking gambler? Or do I want to, have a few enjoyable horse racing experience, have some fun, but without horse racing information? So I could see again. That horse racing information made me blind. I want to see again. So I don't want to look at horse racing information ever again. And I'm not. No matter what I do, I'm not. No matter wherever this journey takes me, I'm done with that. I learned that there's a disease here. And the disease is me being addicted to something that doesn't provide you a roadmap to what your intention is, winning. And then I want to step further. I don't even care who wins the race. I don't even care who wins the race. So getting rid of horse racing information and then not doing what you're doing, which is just looking for the winner. You're just looking for the winner, and then you move on, and then you string along the bed all day long. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. What I'm doing is I'm playing just one race, maybe 2 races, maybe 3. but not any more than that. I'm restricting myself to trying just to play one race and then get wowed by that race. What is it? What do I mean by getting wowed by the race? I mean, again, it fits my criteria. It's a highly uncertain race, 5.5 furlongs on the turf, so I'm gonna get some bumping. Um, uh, I'm hearing comments from the professionals that the race is like, you know, you can't pick a winner. I like that. Doubt, uncertainty. Okay, that's when I can come to the forefront and be brave and make an investment in it because you're not going to make an investment in it. You're not, because there's too much uncertainty. You want to find, Ortiz at 5-1, 3-4-1. You want to find Pratt at 5-2. You're going to look at the other Ortiz brother at 3-1, 4-1. And then you look at Franco and all the top guys with Chad Brown and this guy. That's where you are. I don't care about all of that. I don't care about all that. I want Jamie Rodriguez to come forth at 60-1. I want an unknown jockey like from Finger Lakes to come in at 48-1 and take third. Again, playing in a playground that you're not playing in versus being out of control insane.
Outside when I'm done, but maybe I'm crazy.
Maybe you're crazy. So again, one of the things that's good is whether I make an investment in a race or not. Number one is I'm getting rid of half the field. And then, half of the races. So what is it, 11 races today? So already I'm not even starting until the 7th race. So I'll detach again, get, finish this video. And this is one of the activities I do, is to show a journey of somebody playing the race is completely different than other people. Somebody who's been in the game for 40 years. And there's people out there that, need to recover from their old game and go to a new game and go to a game that makes you smile more often. Why? Because you're in control. Why? Because of the fact that it's something you want. It has to be something that you want, and you have to want it bad. And a paradigm change happens in a moment of truth, and that's why I'm sharing the journey. If anybody ever wants to say hello, I'm at 475-206-6569. The best thing about horse players is we're totally full of malarkey. We love to talk. What do we call it? Blowhards. We just talk. I don't even need a script. I write notes and stuff like that, but I never follow my notes because, again, this is what we think we know. We think we know everything about horse racing. And really, the truth of the matter is we should shut the blank up because of the fact that how much, what you think you know, and you don't know anything. The best thing you can know is that you don't know. And that's why I developed that Degobuster approach to my game. Surrender. Surrender to the fact that this game is fucking impossible to win at, and have fun and enjoy it. And the way I've done that is, again, by eliminating the racing form, eliminating Telegraph, eliminating Ragusan, never looking at time form. And I'm telling you, I loved looking at that stuff. I enjoyed it so much. All right, so then I'll come on with part 2 when I finish my crystal clear clarity boards for the latter races. I already did. I think the last race, and this is I think the 11th race, right? So this would, I'll finish it out more and make it better. But right now, you're looking at this here. You're looking at the 11th race. The 2, 3, 4, and 7 are going to be the contenders. You know what? 3-1, 5-1, 6-1. The 9 is going to be 6-1. The 8's going to be, the 1's going to be 8-1. The 10 is going to be 10-1. And then these are the horses that I'm over interested in. The 5 and the 8, they're 30-1. And the 6 is 20-1. So race 11, crystal clear, clarity board. My attention is just going to be here. I'll see the doubles to see if those horses maintain the 3 longest shots on the board. And then my thought is that, okay, is this race worthy of an investment because of its uncertainty? Again, these are the horses that I'm going to dismiss, because these are the horses, especially these horses here, you're going to be playing on your pick 3s, pick 4s, pick 5s, pick 6s, and all that stuff. The 2, 3, 4, 7, and then maybe the 9, and maybe the 1 and 10. So again, your whole game is about contenders, picking winners. My game is about playing the game that you dismiss totally. I'm looking to try to get to 5, 6, 8 in race 11 to get onto the ticket. I'm not looking for them to win. I'm looking for them basically just to take second, third, or fourth. I know the probability of them taking fourth is the highest, so I'll press that. I know taking third is second highest. If they take second, it's almost like winning, and if they win, that's bottom. So, because my belief is I can beat a race, but you can't beat the races. So I try to just play one race for the day. And I also, go from the last race up. But then I want to see what my mojo is for the day. Am I a bumblehead and everything's going to go wrong? Or, my mojo is real good. But I, just like Bill Russell said when he was interviewed about what makes him a winner, because he doesn't come to play, he doesn't come to gamble, he comes to win. And coming to win is being disciplined. Coming to win is passing a lot of races. Every time you pass a race that you really, really wanted to play, but you wobbled and had doubt, that's saving money. It's bankroll preservation versus bankroll depreciation. The more discipline you have, not only do you save more money, but you don't have horrible experiences. Again, you have 2 people playing this game. You have a regular person, that's the person in front of, right, regular person, it's you. And then you have a subconscious. The subconscious is the boss. And that's from many years of playing. The subconscious kicks in. You have to train the subconscious more than you have to do the obvious. You got to, first of all, by understanding that you have a subconscious that makes decisions. Subconscious pulls the trigger. How sometimes you make a bet, you didn't even know you made the bet. That's the subconscious. Be aware of that. Other than that, so we'll come up with part 2 later with the crystal clear clarity boards for maybe another race that might be of interest. But again, I'm not starting until like 4 o'clock, and it's early morning. So now I'm going to detach, turn this all off, have nothing to do with it, and do other things. I'm going to leave the horse racing bubble and go into the world bubble and clear my mind, get something to eat, and relax. So as Harvey Pack would say, may the horse be with you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.